Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? Justin Hombach here, back from my practice cave. Welcome to a kind of new format I want to try out. Welcome to analysis of the John Petrucci Guitar Universe 2.0 Jam. And yeah, in this video I'm going to rank every solo from each player. I'm going to analyze it and to check out what they are doing, how they are playing it, and yeah, let's find out. Let's start with the video. Cheers! Alright, this is kind of an idea I had for a while now, to do this kind of analysis video. It's not a reaction video, because I know this video so far. It's an analysis video. And yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about each different player of those kind of jams. And I want to talk a little bit about what they are doing, how they are approaching over the chords and the rhythm that is playing, and yeah, to rank them. And if you ask yourself, okay, how in the hell have this dude sitting here have the guts to rank some of the greatest players on our earth? Well, it's my freedom to rank them. I'm sorry for that. Check out my channel if you want to know more. The person that is ranking those players. But yeah, I'm going to rank them. And every solo can get up to 5 early 2000 John Petrucci's. So, and my approach on how I'm going to analyze this depends on a few different parameters. Of course, technique and control, it's phrasing, timing, tone, but especially how they approach their solo style over the chords that are given and the situation of the rhythm guitar and the overall the music that is playing in the background, how they are interacting with other players. Are they really jamming or are they just noodling around? And the build-up of the solo as well, which is always pretty important for me, how your solo is built up. Do you have tension? Do you have energy? Do you have more kind of relaxed part, more melodic part, more speed part, fast part to create some tensions? Are you releasing the tension pretty? So yeah, those are the parameters, how I'm going to rank them. And so I would say without further ado, let's start with this song. So first of all, the song is in 2 keys. We have 2 sections. We have first one section, and the chords of this section is A minor, A sus. Petrucci is a lot playing with this kind of voicing here. Going to E minor. Then again this kind of A sus chord, A minor chord. Then again E minor. E minor 7. F major 7, often with the sharp 11 in it. Then going back to A sus, A minor kind of chord. Then G major and D minor. We have a little transition to the next part, which is a 2-5-1 in E minor, so it's an F sharp minor 7 flat 5, a B dominant, going to E minor. And this is the second section. The second section is basically this kind of idea, and they're often referring it as a Phrygian dominant kind of style and vibe, but when chords are kicking in the second half of this section, they are more kind of in a minor way, in a maybe also Dorian way, and yeah, so I would say those are the 2 sections that are jamming over. Petrucci has a little section for his own, but I would say without further ado, let's start with our analysis. Okay, John is starting with the chords and his typical voicings and option notes. So the F major, again to this A sus, A minor, G, and D minor. Now Petrucci is starting with this kind of melody, or this little solo over the first chords. Okay, so I'm not going to rank this section because it's kind of a little bit more of a melody than especially solo. It's more like an intro melody. But I think there's something in Petrucci's playing here which is really, really special, and that is his dynamic. Let's check out this one section where he goes from really, really soft to a little bit louder again. And you can really see how he can, or how he is using his style of playing with dynamics. And yes, let's check this one out. Here. See how, hear how quiet that note gets. He's creating this dynamic by not picking the note, fading out after that little slide. Really, really cool kind of phrasing trick here. And his vibrato is so much in time. Again, I really love, I can praise everything, I can praise enough how awesome the vibrato of Petrucci is. So check out the timing here of the vibrato. Can you hear that, how he's just resting the note, and then after one bar he's starting with a vibrato. He's not doing the vibrato immediately. He uses a little bit of time for our ear to get used to that tone, to the clear tone, and then he's alterating it with a vibrato. Really beautiful repeating pattern here. And really going along with the chords. So when the E minor is played, he goes from the A to the B, which is the fifth of E minor. So he is following with his melody with the chords. Ah, damn it. And now comes the 2-5-1 in E minor, starting with the F sharp major 7 flat 5, going to the B7, and then to E minor. Now. And you can clearly hear how he's outlining the F sharp minor flat 5. Yes. Going to the dominant, and now the B section. And here I love the dueling part between the unknown player, like I used to call him, and John Petrucci. Those yeah, the minor third and the major second together. So now begins the guitar solo from Tony MacAlpine. And first let me tell you something about Tony MacAlpine, because I think Tony MacAlpine here is my favorite guitar player. Because of a few things. Tony knows how to jam. Tony really knows how to jam. Tony, and you will see this in the solo later on. You know, or you can clearly hear that he has a background in jazz music. You can clearly hear his kind of style from the Planet X era and from his solo era and stuff like that. And he has played really a lot with, and a long time with Steve Vai. And when there's somebody out there who can jam, then it's Steve Vai. And when you have to jam with Steve Vai, then you know how to jam. And yeah, that is something I would say he's doing a lot, or he had a lot of experience with it, because jamming and improvising and playing with other people together is something that you have to train, that you have to practice as well. And there are methods of practicing jamming, and it's nothing that comes really immediately or intuitive. You have to gain experience in jamming, and Tony definitely has this kind of experience. So let's check out the solo of Tony. He's playing first over the B section, and the cool thing here, they are giving him space. Later on, they're using this section to play some dominant, some Phrygian dominant kind of riffs. Something like this. But here they're only playing the E. So Tony had a lot of space to play inside and outside. And this is something that he's doing here a lot. And outside playing is, I would say, I would define it as playing tension notes. Notes with a lot of, notes that make you... but releasing it pretty well. So you think for a small part of here, what's going on here? That doesn't sound right, but okay, then it's releasing it. This is outside playing. Outside playing can be really difficult. The timing is important. The melodies or the note where you're resting on and that you are articulating is really important. But Tony does a pretty good job here with this kind of style of outside playing. But let's check this one out. Here, that line. He's first starting with some kind of bluesy E minor pentatonic kind of idea, and then he's bending from the root to the second, and then he's going to the flat 5, which is the first kind of note. That's pretty. It's nasty. Nasty is a good word to describe this. Now he's getting a little bit of this jazzy zone. And he is doing a kind of E minorish with a flat 5 again. Kind of idea and arpeggios. Now he's getting fully outside, and I love this. Let's check this one out. Using different triads to approach, or as approach to substitute those kind of outside ideas. So there is a theory behind this. It's not just playing nonsense. He knows what he's playing there. But then one thing happens. He's resolving to the A, which is not the best note to resolve to. That can happen. It happens to me as well when I'm jamming. It happens to everybody that sometimes when we are playing outside, we are in the zone and then we don't really know how to release it pretty well. And he plays a note which is in the key, but the A is the fourth of E. And the best notes to resolve to are foremost, first of all, the root, the third, and the fifth, the notes from the triad, and then the second, and then maybe the fourth or the 13. But the fourth or the 13 has a lot of tension in it, even if it's in the same key. It has a lot of tension and it has a lot of color. And this is not the best note to choose to resolve. But yeah, it's a little mistake. Can happen, error or mistake. I don't think it was intentional, but yeah, can happen. Now the coolest thing is now in the next section, the chords are kicking in. And as soon as the chords are kicking in, he is not playing outside anymore. Not really, or not that often, or not that, I would say, that strict like in the section before it, because he has less space. And this is something which is really interesting in this kind of jam as well. We have two sections. we have the sections where you have more kind of a modal feeling, playing with modes and stuff like that, or inside outside, the section that you have heard, the section here. And then we have the chord section. And even if it's harder to follow the chords when you're improvising, it's easier to play melodic and to play interesting, because the chords themselves has some sort of melody in it. There's something which is called chord melody and guiding tones and stuff like that. So you can follow them and you easily have a really recognizable melody which works and fits pretty well. When you only have this as a background, only the E, it's a little bit harder to play interesting. And I will say you have some pretty good examples of not playing that interesting like Tony did here later on other players. But let's continue with the solo of Tony. Now this section, I love this section. It's a pretty good example for a good build-up. He's first playing triplets. Mike Mangini is playing alongside those triplets. His groove is playing with them. He's playing triplets as well. And after that, he's going to triplet 16 or triplets, sorry. Which is, I would say, a level higher from the tempo, but he's building up the tempo. He's not going straight to the fast thing. He's not playing straight. Something like this, but he's building up it more. Something like that. So this is, I love that. Now he's going full into shreds, so. Now he's doing this typical Tony MacAlpine trademark lick, the major triad sweep arpeggio with the major 7 as a tapping note. I'm playing alongside this one here. Going descending with only hammer-ons and stuff like that. It's really typical for Tony MacAlpine and his kind of style. I think I made a video about some Tony MacAlpine licks. I have to check it out if I ever had released it. But when I had released it in the past, then I'm going to click it up right here somewhere there. Playing now really melodic. Having a lot of fun with the shreddy kind of licks. Yeah, a little bit more bluesy stuff. Man, so this was the solo of Tony, and I think there's a lot of great stuff and detail in this solo. So this solo gets for me 5 early 2000 John Petrucci's, 5.5 because that man beats cancer. Or has beaten cancer, so he gets half point extra. Alright, now comes the bass solo. I'm not going to talk a little bit about the bass solo because it's bass, and even though some people think that bass and guitar are the same, the soloing on bass guitar is pretty different because they are more limited, so they are forced to solo differently. So I'm not going to talk about this because, yeah, I have no rights to judge over a bass solo. But it's an awesome solo, definitely worth to check out. So let's go to the next one, and the next one is Master Rusty Cooley. So here. Okay, and first let me tell you one thing. You never underestimate the power of Rusty Cooley. There are some people in the comment section saying, oh, Rusty is too 80s kind of style. Fuck them. Rusty is a really underrated guitar player. I had some lessons with Rusty and I have analyzed and learned a lot from his kind of style and his videos and stuff like that. And there's so much more behind the what was it? More than meets the eye behind Rusty's playing. And he has his own kind of style. It's not everyone's taste. That's fine. But he is really not only a really gentle guy and dude, but he's also an incredible player. So let's check out his solo. His solo is over the B section, like I call it. And here now they are adding this kind of Phrygian dominant riff kind of style, which limits Rusty a little bit more because now he not only have this one note, where it's a little bit easier to play outside and play different modes and stuff like that, but he's forced to play in the best way Phrygian dominant, but he makes a pretty good job. So let's check out Rusty's solo. Yeah, I mean this riff here. First off, beginning with a really great pentatonic phrasing kind of idea. With a great vibrato from Master Rusty. And here, this section. Yeah, this melody. Wait a second. Going to a little bit more Mixolydian kind of style. He's now doing a little bit more and more major kind of stuff, and Phrygian dominant has the major third in it, but he's more playing it like it's a Mixolydian kind of idea vibe. So he's playing with the modes here. Maybe he's thinking a little bit more Mixolydian flat 6, which could also work a little bit, or yeah, it can work over Phrygian dominant when you are not going as much on the minor second. But you have the flat 6 and the major third in it, and the minor 7th, so that are notes that will work, that are cool. And now he's going to the full Rusty Cooley shred action. So he's coming straight to the point. But I have to say, yeah, he's getting straight to the point, but he has a plan of what he is doing in this improvisation. He's starting with some 3-note per string sweep with a pretty wild kind of 3-note per string sweeps. Going 1 fret higher, outlining Phrygian dominant and stuff like that. And he's kicking it off in the beginning of a section. And in the beginning, after 8 bars, I would say, was before that. And then with the one, he's starting going full into the shred section. So it's not in the middle of any section. It's in the beginning. He's beginning it with it, which is really important when you're improvising. And then he's going from the 3-string sweeps to 5-string sweeps, really expanding those. And then he's really fluently going to the next section, which are those, I would say, oh sorry. It's so weird to play with this microphone in front of me because I can't see anything. Those stretched diminished over 2 strings with the string skipping. And then after 4 bars again, after 1 section, he's resolving again. He's resolving in a different way like Tony MacAlpine is resolving. He's resolving again with some wild bendings and wild high notes, but where Tony is creating tension with outside playing, Rusty is creating tension with intense playing, with fast playing, but he's resolving it as well. See, again, going to the 5-string sweeps. Doing some diminished sweeps. Yeah, sorry, I forgot them. Yeah, that he's doing those kind of diminished sweeps before that. Those kind of stuff. But he's then going to his string skipping stretched diminished arpeggio madness. And then resolving here. Oh, it's so awesome. And you can't say that Rusty isn't playing melodic. He has a pretty great melody in there. The melody is intense. It's really sorry for the tissue because I sorry. The playing of Rusty is intense, but it's also melodic. There's a melody in there. It's pretty wild. It's kind of like wildish wild. He's going to his beat picking. Again, really great melody. Ah, what he's doing here. Wait a second. He slipped to a pretty interesting note. Into the major 7. Which can be pretty cool, pretty awesome. Oh, sorry. Which can be pretty awesome when you are playing in the kind of Phrygian dominant style and vibe. That's totally fine to do that. Really great color, tension. And then he's going again to full shred mode. Again, melody, and then again shredding. Some octave playing. Now here would be a section where I would say I personally would prefer to go a little bit earlier into a melodic kind of playing. He is still shredding and heating up. He can't let loose of his speed when they are kicking in the chords. But I could also imagine that he maybe was so much in the zone that he's playing really that fast and that intense that he forgot that the chord section is now coming. And then he realized, oh shit, now we are more on the melodic section and now I have to bend and do a little bit more melody and phrasing stuff, like here. Playing bluesy. But then okay, playing fast again. Yeah, he has a lot of energy in it, and a lot of really great ideas. It's so fast that a lot of people are not getting it because for many people it's too fast. But the concept behind the playing of Rusty is not only it's not really just playing something. He has a real concept behind his lines and his licks, and this is something that I've learned after I played some stuff from Rusty Cooley, and I've learned some stuff from Rusty Cooley, and I got some lessons from him. So I highly recommend everybody to check out a little bit more Rusty Cooley. Get the Rusty in your life. So this was the solo of Rusty, and here, yeah, I would say I can understand that for some people it's a little bit too much. For me personally, sometimes it is a little bit too much of shredding, but this kind of a style. But I really see the energy and I see the flow of Rusty's playing and the connection of ideas and of sequences and of really intense licks, and his playing is just full of energy and full of emotion in that kind of way. I think this is really as well emotional playing. It's in a way that maybe not so many people are getting it, but I really get it and I really liking it. And sometimes again it's a little bit too much for me. Sometimes you maybe could play a little bit more with the chords, especially in the second part, in the second section. So for me, it's 3.5 early 2000 John Petrucci's. Alright, let's move on with the next one, with the unknown one. Let me find out what the name of this guy is again. John Finn. Okay, I can't tell you anything about this guy. If you know who he is, and if you have any idea who he is, then write it down in the comments. I want to know who this guy is, because he plays really incredible. Okay, now we are in the A section again. The A sus, A minor, E sus, E minor kind of chords progression here that I've told you in the beginning. So in the beginning alone is a statement, because what I've learned in my experience of playing jazz music and really standing every night when I was studying jazz, having jams and open jams every night, is how important it is to different your solo from the rest a little bit. And when there is a solo like Rusty's before my solo, where Rusty's playing all those flashy licks and really intense and with a lot of energy, then I would say the best way to start the next solo after this Rusty solo with a lot of notes, the best way to start the next solo is with, oh, what's the note that he's playing? And this is a statement. This says, okay, I'm going to approach it a little bit different. Now you're going to hear something different. Not better or worse, but different. And I really dig that. It would be not as great when he started the solo with something like that. Here, a pretty nice start off of a motif, but not really following it, which I think is a little bit sad. Really a really great, interesting idea and motif here. Bluesy stuff. Oh, and I really like this one. I really like this one. Then he's playing those pentatonic kind of, and then he stops immediately in a really strange way, but this keeps attention to your ear. I really like that. Let's listen to it again. Pretty good motif here. Really liking this one here. What is it? This kind of motif and idea here. Really liking it. A little bit of sweeping, a little bit of fast playing. Again, a little of melodic arpeggio sweeping. Oh, now the 2-5-1. Cool build-up. It's a really great build-up with the 2-5-1 to the next section from a melodic point of view. So it's a little bit, there's a little bit less to say. I would say it's really melodic, of course, and as I've said in the beginning, it's a little bit easier to follow this kind of, or to create a melody by following the chords. But he's playing a little bit more of bluesy kind of stuff here, a little bit more of pentatonic, and adding some great intervallic and scale ideas and motifs here. What I'm missing a little bit is the continue of some motifs, especially in the beginning. There are two kind of themes and motifs and melodies that he could continue over it and create some really cool. But he starts with it, play it 1-2 times, and then ends it and goes to the next thing. And one thing which is always important for improvising and for jamming and stuff like that is to develop a feeling of creating a motif and then continuing this motif, then going along with it and making it bigger. Yeah, but great phrasing, great ideas, great timing, really cool pentatonic kind of playing. So for me, those are 4 early 2000 John Petrucci's. Alright, let's continue to the next Shredmaster, Jason motherfucking Richardson. Jason is again playing over the Phrygian dominant B section here. Great shredding line in combination with the drums. The drums are playing with the snare, a little bit more of double time feeling, and Jason in that time, on that moment, is playing this 16-note triplet kind of shredding line. Now. Great. Yeah, now we're going to the section where I think the intention of the outside note, again the major 7 here, is really great, but he's staying too long on that note. He's not resolving it. And this is something which creates this kind of tension, but you're not releasing it. And this is not so good. But the technique, I'm blown away. The technical ability of Jason is just incredible. And his licks and his ideas are phenomenal. He has a little bit more kind of this Petrucci-esque structure feeling where Rusty Cooley, and you can compare Jason with Rusty Cooley in that moment pretty good because it's the same section and kind of the same style and the same roots where they are coming from. And while Rusty playing is a little bit more wild and a little bit more like the animal from the Muppets, Jason is a little bit more different kind of approaches and different kind of licks and a little bit of bigger vocabulary, a little bit more kind of licks, and he's playing a little bit more with arpeggios and with those kind of intervallic licks and sequences and stuff like that. Not as fast as Rusty, not yet, but yeah, so far pretty great. I'm really liking it. Here's, for example, a section where he could build up a melody and could continue it. Why not playing something like, and then continue this kind of idea? Something like that. He's doing a lot of chromatic stuff in there as well. Yeah, he has practiced some his, yeah, he had practiced his fusion lines. Yeah, some Guthrie Govan kind of ideas like this. This kind of stuff. Oh, that was interesting. how he is going from the major second to the major third, which gives it a little bit more kind of Mixolydian major feeling. Pretty awesome, pretty cool. Those combinations of sweep arpeggios over 3 strings and then going to shreddy line. It's those kind of licks. All right. But you can hear in the chord section that he's sometimes a little bit lost, not really knowing where he has to develop or where he wants to develop the melodies, and then he's, I would say, losing into this kind of shreddy section, which is really normal. It happens to all of us all the time when we are not really sure what we want to play. Then shredding is always a little bit more of the easy answer, because it's easier to noodle around. Oh, there comes my cat. It's easier to noodle around than to develop a melody. So, and with this, I would say it's on the same level like Rusty's solo. It has some really great ideas and some really great shredding ideas, and it's really worth to check out. And Rusty is on the next level, and I know from interviews and from Instagram stories and so on that he is trying to improve his improvisational skills, and he's done it as well in this video. When you're comparing him to I would say for 5 years ago, stuff like that. But sometimes the melodic approach is a little bit missing, and the approach over the chords, and a little bit of energy here. I mean, go in a situation, I mean, in 2000, when was this? 2018, he was kind of 26, 25, 26. When I had to play with 26 4 years ago on the stage, and I had to play together with Rusty, Cooley, John Petrucci, Tony MacAlpine, Mike Mangini, I would shit my pants. So it's totally fine that he's still a little bit insecure and not as experienced as the other players in this kind of jam situation. But therefore he gets 3.5 early 2000 John Petrucci's as well, like Rusty. Okay, and so much for the solos. I'm not going to do the Petrucci solo now because this video is way too long right now. And I think there are so much stuff about how John Petrucci is approaching to improvisation and his playing and his licks, and so many lessons, and I've done so many lessons about Petrucci as well. So there's a lot of stuff talked about Petrucci, but not so much about Rusty Cooley or Jason Richardson or Tony MacAlpine or John Finn. Yes, so much for this kind of analyst video on this ranking of those 4 solos. I hope you liked this little video. If you liked the video and if I should do more videos like that, then write it down in the comments. And I hope everything was working here with OBS and my camera is not bugging that much. But yeah, next time when I'm going to do this, maybe every month, I will check out the second All-Star John Petrucci Jam at Guitar Universe together with Guthrie Govan and Tosin Abasi, which will be a little bit more controversial, but yeah, so much for that. If you like this video again, leave a like, leave a subscribe, leave a comment if you want to see more like this, and I hope I'm going to see you in my next lesson. So much for that. I'm out. Cheers and stay progress. Bye.